Alrighty, and we're back. So, we're continuing knocking things off from the list of things that we need to do. And what I wanted to do here is make the batteries explode. Okay, so I think we can handle this from within the battery. We can set up an explosion. We're not going to keep the explosion in the battery. We're going to make the battery spawn an explosion. But we're going to make the explosion effectively... we're going to make the battery create an explosion object which has the particles in it, the physics, and the battery itself will basically spawn in like two versions of itself, the top and the bottom, and have it be kind of blown up and exploded. So, in order for us to do that, we need to open the battery and create an alternate version of it. Battery. Yeah. Okay, now that's... What battery is this? This is the small one. It's actually mislabeled here. This used to be the 12 volt, but we changed it. So battery 12 volt, and then this one, yeah, that's the 55 volt one. Okay. So open this, and then I'm gonna call this... Beautiful. Okay. So I basically need to create a broken version of this. Okay. This whole thing is one piece. Okay, we have two cameras. Cylinder, of all things, for some reason, it's got nothing in it, so we can get rid of it. And the point light, that's for the item icon. Okay, so let's make a duplicate of this. And then I need to create fracture points. Let's see if we can get away with something like this. Okay, that's the upper piece. Now, we're also going to make a lower piece. So when it blows up, it will basically be split into two. Okay. Is it going to be smart enough? No. No, it's not. Okay. Fair enough. There we go. We can select this. So battery exploded. Ooh, come on. Exploded top. Exploded bottom. Okay, now extract, extrude along normals. I'm just going to give it some thickness. And then here, if we're lucky, we might not even need to retexture this. Just along normals. Ooh, okay. Maybe we're not going to be so lucky. Let me try this. P, no, Y, so that it's a separate object. And then, there we go. And then I'm going to take the inside, fill that in, and there we go. And then if I really want to be fancy about it, I could take these two pieces, scale Z, negative 1, okay, R, Y, 180 instead. I'm going to bring it up here so we can still see the terminals. And because they're duplicates, they're just going to reuse the same exact texture space. I'm pretty sure we'll have to retexture some of this stuff. But for now, this is okay. Okay, beautiful. These items are not going to be pick-upable. They're basically just debris. Debris. So let's get convert. No, not convert. Set origin center of mass. Set origin center of mass. And then we'll extract this. Engine models. I guess this would be just props. It's not an item. We can't do anything with it. We could place it into items technically because that's where a lot of the other stuff sits. Battery exploded. 55 volts. Yup. And then OBJ. Objects by parent. Everything else seems to be okay. 2 files exported. Okay. Cool. Now. Rigid body. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a little fucky wucky. Let's triangulate. It's kind of handy. You could just press T and it'll pick triangulate modifier right away. Okay. Import. Did I export? Yes, I did. Okay. Now it is inside out. Calculate. Save. Export again. Nice. Okay, so we're going to save this to objects. Items. Cool. Shape. I think a rectangle will do. And that's technically it. We can create, we can assign battery 55. Yeah. The underside is not textured, so we'll probably have to parse it one more time through substance. As a matter of fact, we don't have the substance file because of the hard drive crash, so we'll have to retexture it anyways. Oh well, okay. So we're gonna make a new inherited scene from the top. Save scene as. This is bottom. And I really just need to swap out the mesh. Yeah. Cool. That works. What do we do with this? Go to the battery code. The battery code is generic item. So this is where we might have to extend it. Okay. Extend script. Is there anything we need to remember? All of this stuff. I'm just gonna copy these parameters just in case. Extend script, battery 55 volt. Yoy. Scripts, items. Okay, good. Now, oh, it still remembers what the items are. That's cool. All right, fantastic. We don't need any of this stuff. Actually, does the generic item have process? It does have process, which has some label stuff. So we can go into the 55 volt battery, and then the process run super, which is going to force the parent script to also run the process. Okay, and then what do we need to do? We need to get this battery to preload. Chunks preload. And then there's the scene. Take the bottom, take the top, preload. Okay, that's not how that works. It's an array, and if we hold control before I let go, then it will preload it. Nice. Okay. Cool. So if item data amount is over, let's do 150. If it's over 150, if we want to add a sense of gambling, we could make this random. So some batteries can fit more than 150, other batteries will croak out at 120. I think that would be kind of funny. Okay, item data amount. If it's over 150 for the time being, we're going to generate the chunks. New chunk. We need a for loop. For each chunk in chunks preload. We're going to talk to the each chunk. Instantiate a new chunk from it. Then the global position is set to global position of this. We need to add child, so we tell the battery to get parent, add child, or actually no, let's, just in case if the battery ever becomes child of anything, let's do get tree, current scene, child, new chunk. Then the new chunk's global position is set. Okay, and after the for loop is done, Q3, which undoubtedly is going to break our charger. That might happen. Although, when you Q free a battery, the area nodes detect it as the node exiting, so it might catch it in time. Hopefully. Okay. So we queue free, and then for the time being, that's all that we need. All right. Let's go to testing sandbox. The workbench doesn't have a charger by default. So dynamo machine, plug that right there. Oh, this is not Blender. There we go. Local transforms. Cool. And then let's get battery, 55 volts. You could queue free deferred. Yeah, if it causes a problem, that's probably what I'm gonna have to do. And we crashed already. Look at that. How lovely. Item data. Amount. Really? Battery has amount. Generic item. It doesn't have an export variable, but it sure does have amount. $55 volts amount. Yes. Oh, the ready function. It overrode the duplication of default data from the item database. Yup. Okay, so gotta watch out for that. I might have to start looking into film particle packs, because the film particle packs are usually pre-animated and they look awesome. Instead of using just a stationary thing. Oh, we crashed again. That's lovely. Okay. Invalid get index held item on base character body player. Really? Player has no held item? That's curious. Okay, I just did something. I don't know what the hell that was. There we go. Okay. Held item. Physically held item. Okay. That was, I think, a clarification between player held item and physically held item. Got it. Okay. That's fine. We use it 3 times. Let go of held item. Destroy held item and inventory data. So, yeah, we have 2 ways of inserting something. We can insert something by dragging it, and we can insert something by having it be held in our hands, which means we're gonna have to have a hold animation for this stuff. Okay. Well, curious. Nope, no flash photography. Okay, so left click. It's moving very slightly. Oh. And it's returning back. Something is off. Okay, let's see what's off. We know that the dynamo has input from player. If event is a mouse motion event, spin speed will receive the relative speed of the mouse. We multiply by this value. What happens to this next? If it's not 0, amount is slowly adding. If it's over 0, spin resistance is going to start slowing it down. And then we clamp it between whatever it is right now and 0. Okay. We are going to need a little helper. Label 3D. Okay, let's see what the spin speed actually is. Lovely. I love it. Where is it? Billboard. Why billboard? Yes. Why is it working now? What the heck? Okay, hold on. So place it in. That goes in. Oh. This is a built-in feature. When the battery is full, the resistance is so high that we can't actually spin it that much. Alright. Whoops. So we need to modify that battery. We need to make it so that it has little charge, which we can't because the charge is no longer a variable, an expert variable, unless we do func ready and then super. So first it runs the base code, and then let's make an export variable charge. Not great if you want to blow it up. Yeah. I mean, I do want it to have some resistance, but I don't want it to just outright slow down. Charge. Charge. It would be kind of nice if we could have a null value as an export variable. And then... Oh, we can't. Can we, though? If charge is not null, then item data amount, it's going to be set to this. What do you want? Expected dot or... Huh? Is it because it's a null? Nope. Okay, what am I... Am I stupid? Is there a rogue space? Expected period or colon after super. Are we... Super is a method? Well, hold on a second. Didn't I... Oh yeah, now it's complaining that the export variable is null. Okay. I didn't... Oh yeah, Okay. I had super here. And that... I deleted it. That's why I thought it was working. Okay. Alright. There we go. We got it. Wait. Too few arguments for process call. Expected at least one, received 0. Okay, so... delta, I suppose. There we go. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so we can have null here. We can have it as -1. So we can say if it's not -1, then apply the charge. Okay, that... let's go with custom charge. There we go. Cool. So now we should be able to say custom charge at 10. Pick it up, place it in. Okay, so now we can actually spin it up. The resistances are quite great. All right, let's deal with that resistance. So, spin resistance is calculated by taking the amount and divided by 2. So it's either 1 if there's nothing in there, or you will take the amount divided by 2. Let's divide it by 6. So it's still there. Come on. Okay. The center of that dial is supposed to glow, by the way, when the battery's inside. Okay. We do need to make the needle not past that center point. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, it did spawn them in. Let me, for the sake of testing, reduce this to like 20. A feature that gradually gives back the mouse multiplier when you release the interact. That is smart. So yeah, your view doesn't just fly off the side of the screen. Okay, so this works. What's next? Well, next we need to make them actually fly somewhere. So we can do apply central impulse vector 3. So 0, -1, 0. I think negative is up. And then times randf range between 2 and 5. So it's going to fly up, but that's okay. Just going to do this. This will adjust the top one as well, but that's okay. Alrighty. We'll need a screen shake. We'll need explosion particles. Just plop down. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's go like 10 and 25. Actually, that might just be that it's going down. I also do spawn them technically inside of one another, which could potentially mean that they cancel out their physics just by that collision alone. Hey! Nice. So it was just pointing downwards. Okay. I mean, that seems to work for me. Nice. Okay. So that works. That works pretty well. What's next? Explosion. We need an actual explosion here. Uh, let's get, yeah. It's another thing for Cole to take care of. Get those explosion sounds and insert sounds up and running. Okay, let's make a texture. 256, 256. Brush. Where's my pen? Okay. Don't need stabilizer. Something that I am gonna have to look into for at least some of the games, maybe even for this one. Custom lens flares for lamps and lights, because I'm currently replaying the Batman Arkham City, the Arkham series, and there's a lot of instances where there's a like a street lamp or a projector light, and then as you're moving the camera, there's like a lens flare from each light. Now, I'm fairly certain that the lens flares are built into Unreal because that's what the Arkham games are made in. I think, if I remember correctly, there's like a property of the light source to have a custom lens flare, and you supply what kind of flare design you would like to use. Um, with Godot, I think we might have to do that in screen space and then have them tackle on top. Uh, but the biggest challenge is detecting whether or not the lens flare is obscured by something. I mean, if we have a lot of lights, that's going to be a lot of raycasts to run these calculations with. Now, technically, we could say that we have a camera and the camera has an area node, so the area node has a limited range. It detects when a light uh, is close enough to the camera, and then the camera can tell only those lights to enable their lens flare, and they can fade it in. But there's still a problem of detecting line of sight to make sure that it's not broken. Which, okay, technically that distance check with that area node check could limit the number of raycasts we have to use. So maybe in that case it makes sense. But yeah, I kind of wish there was a node that's a visibility notifier that is obstruction aware, which is basically what a raycast is. I keep thinking that a raycast is a very expensive operation and you can't have a lot of them, which, from what I've seen, the way people handle line of sight, um, it might just be. You could use shaders for that. Yes, if I knew how to do that, that definitely could use that. I have absolutely no conceivable idea how I would get the shaders to detect if the line of sight is broken. Distance. Okay, this is drop shadow. We need outer glow. Okay, I'm gonna try something like this. I think doing a uh, transparent particle might be better because I tried doing blending and it just does not work. Let's go. That's not the right project. We need Dreadtail, assets, textures, particles. Okay, so star spark. It may not work. It may look a little too cartoony, but we'll see. Threshold of something to add lens flare above a certain brightness. Could get away with that. Yeah, I definitely could. Problem is that you can't go with anything that's actually white, because then everything that's white's gonna have a lens flare on it. And I'm not talking about bloom, right? Type of flare where it just kind of blurs out the image a little bit. I'm talking about, you know, the the Michael Bay lens flares. Not like this, like that, or this, right? That look really cool. Can access visibility layers in shader. No idea. Absolutely no idea. Particles. This is assets. We need to go engine. Textures. Particles. Star spark. Okay, so let's make... We're gonna place the explosion temporarily here, so explosion... I think explosion should be singular. Particle. GPU particle 3D. Oh yeah, now that we have collisions with GPU particles, we can make the sparks actually bounce off of surfaces. Pass 1, quad mesh. There it is. Spark. Star spark. All right, set this up. Transparency, alpha. Billboard. Particle billboard. And then emission. There we go. Okay. Now, back out of here. Process material. New particle process material. Beautiful. All right. Spawn. Velocity. Okay, that should be good. Amount. Fuck done. Explosiveness. Yes. Actually, maybe you can achieve this through the shader by checking the distance to the camera. Because I think you should have the coordinates of the camera available in the shader, right? If not, you can send that as a uniform. Okay, but nah, that shader has to be assigned to something. So it would have to be... Fuck, man, I don't know. It's not important right now. That's fine. 32. Okay, 0.9. Cool. Collisions? Sure. We'll see how that works out. Hide on contact. Interesting. Friction bounce. Definitely need bounce. We'll see how that works. Use scale. Okay. I think maybe the star particle might be a bit large. Oh yeah, this is also not going to work until we tell the material to preserve scale. Which is billboard. Keep scale. There we go. Okay, back to prods material. And that should be good. We could give it a curve. Okay, could we also rotate it? Okay. And rotate Z. Hmm. It doesn't seem like this works in 3D. Okay, that's fine. So, now that this is only a part of the explosion, we need some other stuff. For now, however, I'm gonna save this. Objects, particles, explosion. Okay. And we're gonna get rid of it. Generic item. This is part of the battery. So var explosion preload equals preload explosion. Yes. Okay. Now when this happens, we do var new explosion instantiate get tree. Just copy this part. New explosion gets added to the child. Position is set to the element. And now we need to give it a script. So this would be particles, scripts, and then particles. Okay. Don't need this. We just need to know when is the timer, when is the particle destroying itself. Keep free. And the particle has to be set as one shot, which means we need to launch it. Nice. Alrighty. Think that should do it. Oh, don't miss it. Okay. If it wasn't for it preloading it, I think that would have been okay. Huh. What game is this for? A little swamp survival detective style uncover the story game. Okay. Okay, that works. We also need what is it? Particle for the smoke. Might have to source that one. And screen shake. We have cam process. Cam wiggle time. Cam wiggle mode. Node. Rotation, cam wiggle time. High alternative wiggle amount. High alt. I forget what the high alt was for, but I think we have 2 wiggles, don't we? Cam wiggle time. Cam wiggle melee amount. Okay, now I do remember we had a function that sets this. Add cam wiggle. There we go. Add cam wiggle. Speed is set. Amount is set. You might want to consider making some sort of an alternate wiggle code. It's like an array, and it can have various speeds and intensities of wiggle. And it will just compound them all together, so you can have high frequency, low amount, or low frequency, high amount wiggles, and then you just add them. There's 2 parameters to supply. Anytime you want to add a new type of wiggle, you just run the command, and it'll interpolate the rest and handle the rest for you. I think that might be a good idea to do. Okay. So, we need the explosion to affect the players. So we're gonna add an area node. Okay, area node and a shape. Okay, so this is how far you have to be from the explosion for it to affect your camera. Okay, we're gonna add body entered. We're gonna add body exited. And let's make player count or player array if body is in group local player or all player. Local player. We could just spawn in the explosion on the remote network player side, and it will just scan for local players there. We're going to append body in here. And then when the body exits, if it's in the group of local player group, let me just verify that that is indeed the name of the group. Yes, it is. Then, if the array has body, erase. Catch fire before it explodes. Spark violently is what I'm thinking. Because if it catches fire, that's kind of a no return zone. You just get the fuck out at that point. Although that might be a good idea to warn the player so they have time to react. So yeah, we might just make it catch fire, or have like violently spew sparks everywhere. But yeah, you got to give the player an ability to react rather than just immediately punishing them. Okay, player array has erase. Cool. So now, uh, uh, do we have to have this? When the explosion is created, it can just sample all the players in the vicinity. Um, the explosion is already taking place, so we don't really need to track the player. We just do this and say body dot whatever the heck that variable or method was called, add cam wiggle, and then amount, I don't know, let's do like 10. Speed, I think this is dissipation speed. All right, fair enough. Let's give it a test. Ooh. Hey. Nice. Now that dissipated a little bit too quickly, and we also need to make it so that the intensity is distance based. So the closer you are to the explosion, the more damage, or the more the screen shake takes place. But that's already a lot more believable than just the sparks going out. We could probably tell the sparks to live for a little bit longer too. Let's say like 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. That was a doozy. Yes, it was. Pick up, insert, crank. Okay. Cool. Some of these particles are like really flying off. Let's say 5 seconds. And let's reduce the distance, the velocity. We could also have an overlay in the player, like a very heavy vignette. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, these particles die off quick. Just gonna try this. Come on. Get your ass up there. Well, we need to do more work on this anyways. We need to do a smoke particle. We need to do like fire explosion that turns into smoke. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And oh yes. It appears that the charger still thinks that there's a battery inside. So we'll need to deal with that as well. Alright, that's fine. Cool. So we'll continue this in the next one. I gotta take a proper break now. But we got it working. And we also need to propagate this to the other particle as well. To the other battery, the small one. Cool. Alright, we'll be back.